Hey there, this is Dark Star. We're back doing NeoFly missions. This time we've upgraded to a Cessna Citation Longitude. And I don't really know quite what I'm doing. So if anyone joins and they know how to fly this plane a little better, hit me up in chat. I don't know if we want to keep flying at night. It's kind of boring at night, but then again, flying at 41,000 feet is boring in a certain sense. I wonder when anybody comes up by and chats. I need to start going to people's live streams and chatting with them when there's only a few. Let's see, can I see my own live video? Apparently not. What about in YouTube Studio? So what was that? That was that's the PC-24. Video. Let's see. I really can't monitor my own live stream from the weird. Hey, visitor. If you happen to know anything about the longitude, and you can be in the chat, feel free to jump in. There's some things I'm trying to learn how to do. Haven't really used the Garmin 5000s much. Flown the Vision Jet, so I'm a little bit familiar with this kind of general interface. Some things are a little bit different. So we're doing a very long flight, and one thing I want to know is how much longer is it? Well, there should be a way in the flight plan to view okay. En route times and stuff like that. How might I view the en route time? Descent, 2.5 hours. This plane is crazy. I was reading some stuff about it though, that may be misconfigured. Sounds like it's not quite realistic. Crazy fast too. We've also got Pretty nice tailwind, but we got a bit of a crosswind, but we're getting a 500 knot ground speed right now. So somewhere there's some way to change what these things are. Now ETE may actually be what I'm looking for. 2 hours and 46 minutes. I think this is estimated time of arrival at the next waypoint, so 5:30, and then landing at 5:36, but there's no way that's accurate. But I wonder if we can put some more realistic speeds in here. That will be more likely to give us a good answer. So I wonder what a good, let's say 200 knots here. We'll go 190. And I think for our final approach, let's go, so I had some notes. This plane does not like to go slow, I've noticed. I'm gonna do 140. And in between, let's slow down to like 155. So that's going to cause the FMS to automatically start to slow us down. And then the other thing we can do, we can go to VNAV here and we can change our, I think we can change our descent speeds. So let's say 235 below 10,000. That will hopefully keep us from breaking the speed limit there. Top of descent, 230. Missed the Pilatus, the Honeywell avionics. I did not like them at all at first, and then they kind of grew on me. But it's so much easier to see, like, all your data here. No, I don't want to do that. How can we see a better flight plan? going to use thrust reversers. See, this is, we approach 120 knots, but it does not fly at 120 knots. It will be very unhappy. And landing at 109? I don't think so. Required. So we should only need about less than half the runway. If this is accurate. I do like that. Will work for me. Change these? No, that's weird. Okay, so we can put flaps down, flaps and gear at 200. Let's see, flaps 1 and gear at 200 knots. Flaps 2 at 160 knots and flaps full at 140. These should be on the FMS. I guess that means maybe we should make this a little bit slower. Go with 135. So when we cross the final approach fix, plane should be going 135, which will let us put full flaps down at the top of our final approach, all the way down to the runway. Backing that off, I'm going to do this one at 150. That'll be a little bit below the 160 limit, so we'll be able to put flaps 2 here. And then at 190 at Greensboro, we'll be able to get the first flaps and gear down. I think that works pretty well. Why did it lose our... Okay, something reset our speed limit here. Somebody. I keep calling this the latitude, it's the longitude. Visitor. Hope you see my chat. If you know anything about the longitude operations, opened up to chat. Specifically, I'm trying to figure out where to change these entries on the map. Maybe in... Oh, there we go. That's one thing I wanted. It's very similar to the Vision Jet, but I guess I haven't set it up in a while. Just having trouble finding it. All right, now we can see what's going on a little better. So 2 hours and 25 minutes from top of descent now. And our vertical speed target will be 2,600-ish feet per minute currently. That's pretty high, really. Can, let's see, let's find user, what does that mean? Nearest airport. Okay, we can go here and then we can say airport info.
Golf Charlie Charlie automated weather observation 0200 Zulu. Wind 212 at 15. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 2C. Dew point 5C. Altimeter tree 00701.
Cool. Turn that off.
Kilo Golf Charlie Charlie automated weather observation 0200 Zulu. Wind. Kilo Golf Charlie Charlie automated weather observation 020.
Oh, nice. We can bring up the weather right on here at nearest airport. I like that. Same altimeter we got. Hey visitors, trying to figure out how to fly the Cessna Citation Longitude. I managed to get it in the air. We're on a NeoFly mission, and I bet my NeoFly passengers aren't very happy with me. Here's our NeoFly right now. Ooch, brutal. Start taking care of my passengers better. Anybody play NeoFly, play Flight Sim, want to say hi, know anything about the Longitude? Want to know anything I figured out about the Longitude? Figure out how to get the flight plan up on here now. wonder if I tune one of these, is it going to overwrite the one I've already got for the ILS? Probably. Nearest weather, I like that. Okay. So we can just go to nearest weather. We can tune in the nearest weather channel, as well as go here and get the weather. That's good to know. I wonder if it I wonder if that works the same way on the Vision Jet. Oh, bye. Messing around with the transfer earlier. I just seem to lose fuel that way. So we got speed brakes, we got reverse thrust, we have a go around button, which somehow is separate from the auto throttle. Because of that, I can't engage the auto throttle with my normal button on my thrust lever. Hey, visitor. I hope you've come to help. Trying to figure out how this thing works. This is my first time flying the Longitude, except for a little trial flight I did. But I just kind of took off, almost did an ILS approach, it didn't quite work out, manually landed, and then took off on this mission. Doing NeoFly missions. I messed this one up. I didn't get enough weight in. Got distracted. And I let my passengers get all unhappy. I think in my mission filter, I want to turn on ILS now. Yeah, okay, it's on. Still pulling up the mission list from the old airport. So if anyone joins and you hear this, and would you like to help out learning the longitude, or just chat about whatever? So far I've had an interesting journey on the NeoFly. It's been pretty fun. I need to go back in and test career mode. I do not like the view on this. You're so scooted up. Is there no room to scoot this chair back? My face is right in the console. Like the default view, like that one. I've got that view saved. Looks like a good view. I don't understand why I can't view my own live stream though. I wonder if I go in the web browser. Video. I probably shouldn't give out my secret stream identifier. As I have learned, copy URLs before you enter them. They can do sometimes do. Let's get the app. We have the app. There we go. Hello, visitor. We are attempting to entertain our passengers now. In hopes that they don't take down the plane. Hey, we got a couple of people now. So if anyone knows anything about flying the Longitude, operating it, I'd love to chat and get some pointers. Or if you want to know anything that I've learned, I'm happy to do my best and share. I just started flying this. Managed to get the flight plan up on here. Messing around with the menus earlier. Nearest is pretty cool. You go like nearest, weather, find all the airports. You can tune into the automated weather systems. You can even go here. Well, I got airport info, weather. You can get the METAR. Plus a summary of some of it. Like I was looking for altimeter settings. So right now we're at 3005. I actually want to change this to 2992 even though I'm in standard. Because I want to be able to click it off and not have it violently change my current altitude. So I want to I'm ready, I'll click it off and start slowly dialing it up to the correct pressure. CRAP, what a nice airport. I'm gonna have to fly into there sometime. Let's see, what are your runways? Oh, you got a good one there. So, anyone fly for real in Sims? How's your evening going? You need to get one of those on-screen chat relays. Actually, what would be kind of neat is if you could have an app that shows like YouTube chat right in your EFB. There's one of those apps. We have a web browser. No, we do not. Halfway, I think. We've flown over the Rockies earlier. That was pretty. I didn't record the whole thing. I kind of started recording as it started getting dusk. Really started recording as a way to host to come help me. I was watching some videos, but they're not. The videos on the Citation Longitude are not as good as some of the others. If I can figure it all out, I might make one. Everybody wants to make the videos on here's how you do a cold and dark start. Here's how you all this stuff, and that's all well and good. And I like to get into that eventually, but we're a little thin on the middle. How do you set up, the displays? How do you get ready for a flight? That kind of stuff. Not great at making those, but I'll give it a shot. Help somebody. Yay. So we got fourth person. Yay, welcome. And now we've lost people. Lights on, but they're not very bright. Just the panels. Lights are all the way out. This is pretty high. Let's get back to the flight. Well, we have the flight plan up here now. Yeah, I like this view of the flight plan. See your fuel. Supposedly we're going to run out of fuel. We'll have it on infinite fuel right now because it doesn't work great. Hours to top of descent. Still think that we're only going to take 6 minutes or even 5 once we get to this waypoint. He thinks we're going to land in 5 minute time. That would have to be taking into account our current speed. I put all the speeds in the flight plan. Are they still there? Yeah. You think it can use speeds for each legs to get landing time? Not. we'll wait because our happiness is back up to 100%. So I will withhold pillows and we'll beg for them. I notice is the not this one. The landing distance is not calculated correctly. This is the correct length, but these are not at all the correct stopping distances for this plane. Not sure where it's getting them from. Okay, sounds like, so we're supposed to cease reverse thrust at 45 knots during landing operations. I think that's a lower speed than the 737. It's up in the 60s. This is interesting. Approach speed can be estimated at 0.66 on the angle of attack gauge at all aircraft weights and configurations. So I'll try and pay some attention to that when I get to the landing phase. Category 2 ILS approaches are not authorized. QFE operations are prohibited. Operator is required to verify all runways, procedures, altitude constraints, waypoints. Crash at your call. Flight control system. Takeoff, climb, missed approach, autopilot minimums 400 feet AGL. Auto throttle may not be armed during taxi operations or before takeoff clearance is received. Auto throttle is prohibited at or below 50 feet AGL during touch and go operations. Pretty light on some of the content. I wonder if there's some way to display the AOA at all times. Setting. there's even a little green dot. So we want to get the angle of attack on the little green dot. Right, speed means auto throttle mode. Currently speed set to manual. I'm going to have it dialed in at 0.822. The problem is it was going up into the barber pole doing over speeds. Here in FMS navigation, that's a GPS driven. Autopilot is active, auto throttle is active. We're in altitude hold at 41,000 feet. 41,000 feet is selected. There's our standard barrow heading is a little bit off now. I'd like to keep those pointed in case we lose GPS. We wanted to continue on this heading. A bunch of system pages. Go grab systems. Takes the light. Okay, here we go. Here's electrical, hydraulics. Ice, I haven't really got into. I believe that is over here, so if we needed it, we could. It is on. Tito is on, which is good. Otherwise, I might lose airspeed indicator. Lead air. That's what those zeros are. I wonder if environmental is actually modeled. Let's see. Can I turn this down a bit? How's that? Cessna Citation Longitude, and I don't know exactly what model it is. Oh, okay, so I was going to try out the... So right now it says the cabin temperature is 21. So can we make it... Can we make it colder or warmer? The supply is dropping. I don't see the cabin temperature. There we go. Hey. So maybe they did model that. It was the biggest plane I could afford at this time. So I'm doing the NeoFly missions. So you have a certain amount of money. You can go and find planes to rent. So this one would be 600,000. So right now I couldn't rent this one because all my money's in the Citation right now. But it was faster, had a longer range, and could carry a couple more passengers than my previous plane. All that equals missions are worth more money. Get more money, buy bigger planes. And the cycle continues. Also, I've never really flown this plane before. Trying to learn different ones. See how our passengers are doing. They're happy. Yes, in fact, right now we're looking at a 32 knot tailwind and a 2 knot crosswind. An earlier flight going the other direction, I was facing like 160 knot headwind. That was slowing us down quite a bit. A little extreme. I do think I'll be able to land. That's the good news. It flies very well. I enjoy it so far. I did a quick test flight before I jumped into the mission flight. Took off, flew for a minute, landed. So for fuel, probably the best way to do it is use the, well, there's a web app that kind of is part of the game or provided by Microsoft or however you want to think about it. Let me bring it up here. It's the flight planner. There's some other tools. There's like semi-professional and professional tools that people use also. And so like in this case, I would pick the longitude. I don't know why there's two. We'll just pick one. Passenger configuration. And then, let's see. So we were flying from KSLE, and our destination is KDAN. On runway 2, that's correct. Approach, we're using ILS-2 via GSO. So that's loading in that published route into the airport. That's probably good enough for this. You could put in your planned flight level, like I'm at 410, your true airspeed. Right now my true airspeed is 472. So we could do 472 and go. So I think first you would pick if you have to fly near airports or not. You can do that. Since this is a game, I don't feel like I have to be near an airport at all times where I can land. Let's see, and then we go here. And I think we need to say what our payload is. Like, let's say it's like 2,000 pounds. Why this is saying block fuel 0, but so I think you put. I think you need to tell it like what your like how far from the taxiway you are, how much you're expected to burn. Like let's say we're gonna burn. I think it's supposed to burn like 900 gallons per hour average. Your other fuel, like if you want additional fuel, maybe you want some extra. Not sure why it's not letting me enter that. Okay. So right now I think it's saying I would need 3,000 gallons to start with. So that's basics of fuel planning. I'm not doing much fuel planning right now because the fuel consumption doesn't work right. So I have it on infinite fuel, so I don't run out of fuel. Technically, I'm supposed to be IFR right now, but air traffic control doesn't work very well, so I've just been skipping it. There's a program called Beyond ATC where it sort of uses an AI to play air traffic control. I was thinking about maybe trying that out. And then, like right now, if I were going to do it, I would be like, okay, tune in here, Request flight following.
Minneapolis Center Dark Star Delta Sierra 2025 is type Cessna C 706 miles east of November Echo 5 1FL 410. Request flight following.
Let's see if it'll let me.
Dark Star Delta Sierra 2025 Minneapolis Center. Squawk 0536.
But see, it's just the computer. You're just selecting the options.
Dark Star Delta Sierra
With Beyond ATC, you actually talk to it. So you have to say those things, not just click on the option.
2025 radar contact 8 miles southwest of Kilo Charlie 76 Sierra FL 410.
Roger, Dark Star Delta Sierra 2025. Minneapolis Center Dark Star Delta Sierra 2025, 7 miles southwest of Kilo Charlie 76 Sierra FL 410. Request IFR to Kilo Delta Alpha November. Ready to copy.
Dark Star Delta Sierra 2025 is cleared to Kilo Delta Alpha November Airport as filed. Squawk 0536.
Dark Star Delta Sierra 2025 cleared to Kilo Delta Alpha November Airport as filed. Squawk 0536.
So I'm just getting through this. And then...
Dark Star Delta Sierra 2025 readback correct. Radar contact FL 410. Turn right heading 135 descend and maintain FL 410.
Turn right heading 135 descend and maintain FL 410. Dark Star Delta Sierra 2025.
It might be. I'm showing 2.
Dark Star Delta Sierra 2025 contact Minneapolis Center on 1241. Good day.
So now at this point, I can acknowledge handoff and then...
Going to 124. 1 Dark Star Delta Sierra 2025.
And then I can either click this and it'll auto-tune my radios, or I can click on the radio here and enter it. 1, 2, 4, 1. Look down a little bit, enter. So now, oh, I'm on COM 2 here, COM 1. So now I don't have to, it's already switched. Now it says contact them.
Minneapolis Center Dark Star Delta Sierra 2025 FL 410.
Dark Star Delta Sierra 2025 Minneapolis Center radar contact continue.
Yeah, some of the streamers use Beyond ATC. It's buggy though, so kind of sketchy, just like this one is. Hopefully they'll work on it in the next updates or 2. Okay, so about emergencies. I haven't had a lot. I think we're using too much bandwidth. I haven't had a lot of emergencies, but I have had the occasional failure. So I can't tell you a whole lot about it. One time I did have my airspeed indicator sensors freeze up, and so I stopped getting any airspeed indication, and it made it very, very difficult to land because you don't want to go too slow, but you're supposed to be going slow when you're landing, and it makes it really hard to know how fast you're going and not stall. So, but I did land successfully. So. Being more experienced in a plane helps that a little bit, but it still would be extremely dangerous in real life. But supposedly other things can fail too. Your controls can fail, your landing gear can fail, your engines can fail. I just haven't played around with it a whole lot. I'm still learning how to fly, a wider variety of planes. The 737 was a bit rough to learn. Even though there are lots of videos out there with people going through things, it just Until you go through it a few times yourself, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. All right, let's check on our passengers. They are very unhappy. I've been ignoring them. I clicked the wrong thing. I should have done drinks first. Oh well. I need to put that on top so I can see it. Thanks for chatting. So we are 1.5.
Delta Sierra 2025. Contact Minneapolis Center on 132.
This is why I don't like ATC. Just constantly bugs you.
132. 1 for Dark Star, Delta Sierra 2025.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it off. Yeah, it's 1.5 hours until we start descending into wherever we're going. I don't even know. Danville something. That would be. So we can go look it up. KDAN. That is the Danville Regional Airport. Virginia. Just barely. Virginia. We should be landing on runway 2, which is this one. If you're interested in flying, yes, I would recommend it. You could start off with much simpler planes, and I would recommend doing that. There's lots of getting started videos. That's how I got started. A much older version of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I can't even remember which one it was. But it was pretty bad back then. Okay, well, you asked about points and money. Which version of the game? So there's a career mode built into 2024, and I'm not playing that one right now. playing NeoFly. So within NeoFly. And yes, I did really fly planes for 10 whole hours. I felt like the flight sim experience was pretty good training for that. It was quite a long time ago, so it was back in the day of, you know, it was mostly VOR navigation, not GPS. It was kind of pre-GPS. So learning how to do that in the sim really helped being in the plane. The nice thing about being in the plane is you can feel everything. When you pull back on the stick, the plane pulls on you. You can feel it, and then it makes it a lot easier to trim properly. And like you always want to be trimming for your current flight conditions. So it made that a lot easier. In the sim, that's harder because you don't get that feedback. I don't know. I mean, money within NeoFly. I mean, you start off with little tiny planes. I don't remember what the options were, but I started with the 152. You get one for free, basically, when you start. You get $5,000. Like I could rent one here for $17,000. I went 152, and then I upgraded as soon as I could to the 172 because it has an autopilot. Let's see, so those were like, yeah, about in this. No, the rent on it was pretty cheap. In fact, I found out that you can sell your free 152 and turn right around and rent a 172. So you don't even really have to fly the 152 unless you just want to. I like the 152 in a certain sense. It's closer to the plane that I flew. You know, they're very basic. You don't have this is called a glass cockpit. You don't have that. You have the old-timey instruments. This map is truncated because I reset it, but we actually started way over here, so we're well past halfway now. We are 1 hour 24 minutes. Does it have windshield wipers? Some of them actually do. The caution, do not run dry, but I have not seen windshield wipers in this one. It may be designed so that the wind is constantly like hitting the windshield enough to keep it clear. See a windshield wiper on this one. It's not yet. Go outside. Milky Way. Moon. I don't know why your dust trail is lit up. UFOs. My landing strategy. Usually hang on real tight. I think you're the only viewer right now. Oh, there comes somebody maybe. So in the world of airplanes right now, there's kind of, you know, I don't know, maybe 4 different major ways of landing. One is just visually. So you just see the runway, you get the plane lined up, you land, right? That works decently well for smaller planes. Because your speeds are lower, your altitudes are lower, so everything's happening slower. You can just do that. Kind of a step up from that is a lot of the planes now with these glass cockpits. Even the Cessna 172 has, it's just a GPS guided approach. It's just meant to get you roughly lined up on the runway and you know, heading the right way. So you still have to do a lot of stuff manually, but it kind of at least get you lined up with the runway and descending towards it. And then there are fancy GPS approaches, like called RNAV approaches is one. So that's a little bit more precision GPS approach. It's meant to fly even larger planes, like right down to the near the runway, and then the pilot should take over and finish landing. And then above that are these ILS approaches, which we're doing here. We have special transmitters at the runway and special receivers in the plane that track that both laterally so that you're lined up in the right place, and also vertically so you're not too high and you're not too low. And then there's a more advanced version of that that's like ILS that includes auto landing. So like in like a 737 kind of plane, not this one, they can actually auto land sometimes. Now, in the game, it doesn't do a very good job at auto landing. They need to work out some bugs in the systems first. And there's probably 15 others that I'm not talking about. There's all kinds of approaches, VR-based approaches. It's a little bit older one. NDB approaches and all that kind of stuff, but they're little more than, they're actually not as good as like a GPS approach even for the most part. Well, the one problem people are having lately is, it's not that hard to build a little device that can mess up GPS. So there's a lot of GPS spoofing causing problems with planes. But right now we are on, you asked about it earlier, we are on live time, so real time, and live weather. So whatever the weather data that the game has is what the weather data here is. Like I was saying, like our winds are constantly changing, they're down here. So right now we have a 41 knot tailwind and with 18 knot crosswind, which means it's coming from, back, it's coming from this direction. This has broken it up into the two components. This makes it a little easier to know what's going to happen when you're landing, mainly. Bye, new person. So, but like I was reading a little bit about this plane and something I learned, and I had to go find how to put it up here, but as this angle of attack indicator, and this little green dot is where you want that angle of attack indicator to be when you're landing. Uh-oh, guess what time it is? Okay, so we've got people happier now. Happiness is going up. We're going to have food and drinks. I wonder if we should do like a pillow service. Distribute pillows. That's quite the simulator, huh? Simulated drink service. Can we get cocktails in the cabin? I think I should come up with the Microsoft Flight Simulator drinking game. Because, you know, flying and drinking really go together. As I can. So hey there, new visitors. You want this one? Oh yeah, it's getting cold out there. Feel free to move about the cabin. So just trying to learn how to fly this Cessna Citation Longitude. Is that the one? It's very dark back here. Can we turn on some lights? Let's see. I don't remember where the lighting system is. Over here, maybe? Craft system. There's exterior lights. That's not the one I wanted. I was pretty sure there was a lighting control in here. Cool. Customize your call-out altitudes. How much can you customize them? Can you change it or just turn it on and off? Cool. Ah, there they are. MFD fields. Great. Tweak that later. Where's the lighting settings? I think it was on there. Anyone knows, feel free to say so in the chat. Exterior lights, but that's not the one. Cabin management. There we go. See if we got any more light. Yeah, there we go. No, it's black back here. Cabin management. Okay. Really wants me to push this button, doesn't it? Let's see, we are 1 hour and 9 minutes from our descent. Let's check on our passengers and see how they're doing. NeoFly. Oh, we're back to 100% happiness. That's good to know. My first several flights with passengers, it was always 0%. They left just hating me. There was no food, no drinks, no nothing. And if you turn too hard in the plane, they get these horror faces as their status icons. And you have to give the flight safety briefing thing. It's kind of funny. Is anyone else playing? And it is so tempting to speed this flight up with SimRate, but then I lose my monetary bonus. I actually did a couple of overnight flights where I just let the autopilot fly all the way across the US. Not in this plane, but in the previous one. I just put a circle, on a waypoint near the destination, I put a hold so it would fly in a circle. And then land it in the morning and get a big bonus. have a long ways to go to get my, I don't know what I would get next. I was practicing, well, I was playing in career mode with the 737. But they are a lot. I think in this plane, I can tell you actually, in this plane I invested 2.4 million, so I have about 2.7 million total right now. Because you can take your plane and you can return it, I can get that 2.4 million back. On every flight, there's of course expenses that you have to pay for, but those are already paid for as part of the flight. But see, these are like 14 million to rent. Or is it 11.5, 14, 11.8. Take a while to grind that much cash in the game. Fly the 737s. And what I've not flown are any of the bigger planes yet. I haven't even flown them. Like, I haven't even tried. I don't know which one that I even have, really. I haven't passed my certification for those yet either. That's 43 million to rent. Range is 8,000 nautical miles. Literally let it fly all day and just come back and land. So I don't know, any opinions other than the 737 MAX that I'm familiar with? What else should I go for next? You just cycle between these, then it stays at 100%. Like, can I just go back to drinks and see what happens? Just keep serving drinks and food, unless they say something different. We did fall in pretty low though, and we got it back up, so happy about that. So the nighttime views in-game are pretty neat. They have the stars, they have the Milky Way. I think, yeah, there's Orion right there. Betelgeuse, Orion's Belt, Orion's Sword. Feel free to jump in chat if you have any questions or can answer any questions. Meanwhile, I'm going to go back and I wanted to change my entry on this. Setup. There we go. Avionics. MFD details. So these allow you to change the values along the top of the MFD. I don't know that we need distance because distance is right here. And we probably don't need DTK either. Well, let's change the distance for now. So on field 6, which is currently distance, let's change it to en route ETE to final destination. So ETE is the time to the next waypoint, which, like, I deleted all the waypoints along the way, but normally you'd have a whole track of waypoints you're tracking, and this would only give you that next little hop. So ENR now will give me the total time to the end. And then ETA is the UTC time to the next waypoint, and LDG is the expected UTC time of landing, which I think is a lie. I don't think it's calculating that correctly. Because we've got a pretty long ways to go from our waypoint. I can show you on the EFB here. So from here up to there, right? So if we go to our flight plan here, we can click on things and we'll scroll down in the flight plan up here so we can see distances. This distance is 32 nautical miles. Sure where it's getting 3.5 minutes for that. Our speed there is supposed to be 190 knots. Do a little check on that. Uh, 32 nautical miles, going 190 knots. Yeah, it should be 10 minutes. Definitely not taking into account your speed controls. I suspect that time is assuming that I'm going, you know, Mach 0.82. Oh, now everybody wants to go low. The show. So everybody went sleepy. I guess you give them lots of drinks and they get sleepy. Maybe that's the secret to keeping everyone happy. So what else can I show people on what little I know of this plane? And I only know some of this stuff because these similar avionics are in the Vision Jet. That one's a lot of fun to fly. I've flown it quite a bit now. But it's just different enough that it's not that easy. let's check out the weather here.
Kilo Mike Quebec Bravo, automated weather observation 0400 Zulu. Wind 252 at 7. Visibility 10. Sky condition for 1,600 feet, scattered 13400.
That's a bug, but
Kilo Mike Quebec Bravo, automated weather observation 0400 Zulu. Wind 252 at 7. Visibility 10. Sky condition for 1,600 feet, scattered 13400 feet scattered. Temperature, tree C, dew point. Tree C, altimeter tree 00901.
that's one way to get the weather. You can tune into the nearest weather station. The other way is to click on it and go to airport info, weather. And it has some weather information here. And if you scroll down, you can get the METAR raw data. I'm still learning how to read this a little bit, but that's the time. Zulu, so UTC. Not sure what auto is. Winds are 7 knots at 250. So that's from that compass heading 250. Clear, I'm not sure how to read the rest of this. Altimeter 3009er. And then I think it loses me after that. Checklists. See if we have a prepare for descent checklist. Let's just check the cruise one. Okay, so we are in auto throttle, so don't need to worry about that one. Yep, we have our autopilot set up. And yeah, we're okay there. Descent checklist, pressurization landing, verify landing elevation. So for that, what we want to do.
Regional airport information Echo 0400 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10.
Kilo Mike Quebec.
Switch that one off. So you want to go here and check that your landing elevation is correct. For some reason, well, if you're landing at some random place that it doesn't have, you might need to set it manually, or if for some reason the database has it wrong. So check APU knob on start at desired. So APU is back here, right here. I guess we need to turn that on at 2,100 feet. Oh, I'm sorry, 30. 10. Flight level 10. And then altimeters at transition level, that's going to be 18,000 feet. And exterior lights is required, so we need to make sure our landing lights are on. Scan the approach one here. Before landing, go around, after landing, shut down. Quick turn. It's the turbulent air penetration procedures. So you want to slow down a bit if you're going through turbulent air. try to maintain constant altitude. Disengage autopilot. Disengage auto throttle, seatbelts on. Interesting. What's the AP RPMs? Lead to norm. Compute generator switch on. Quick turn. Okay. When I first saw this one, I thought it was talking about making a turn. And I'm like, if you have to make a quick turn, how are you going to have time to look at a checklist? But it means at an airport, right? I think it's just saying if you're going to stop at an airport and then pick up again relatively quickly, these are the things you want to do. Let's put our map back up over here. One other thing I could show you is if you go into map settings and you go terrain relative, that will show you terrain in colors of black is perfectly safe, green, like an orange, and then a red. Green is relatively safe. I think it means it's at least 1,000 feet below you. Orange is you're in danger of potentially hitting the ground, or you're going to get too close to the ground. And red is you're very likely to hit it. You don't increase your altitude a little bit. Although I think red might be like within a couple of 100 feet. So you could still miss it, but you need to make sure you're going to miss it. But really, really useful when you're flying through like a mountainous region and you can't see anything out the window. I've managed to fly like through thick clouds in canyons and survive using that relative terrain. Managed to avoid smacking into anything. And then this over here, of course, is the synthetic vision. Basically a little mini flight simulator inside of the flight simulator. So you got nice looking terrain out here and the 1980s looking terrain in here. And to get that, I think you want to go to your PFD settings, SVT, synthetic vision, terrain on. Unfortunately, this doesn't have the pathways option. Across the little boxes of where you're supposed to fly. And traffic would be nice too. You set that up if it isn't on. You can also, like, if you're going to be doing ILS, it's kind of nice to put have one ILS up on here. Lost our flight plan on here, and I think to do that it was flight plan options. Show on map? Nope, that's the wrong one. How did I do that? There we go. Inset window, flight plan text. You can either do it as leg to leg or cumulative. I suspect these are not working correctly. I should be able to monitor both, monitor one only, or. But Mike, I should be able to switch
Kilo
between
Tango
them
India.
without switching monitoring.
Kilo Tango India Papa.
I think.
Kilo Tango. Kilo.
I guess maybe it's okay. I don't know. I don't know why I can't switch my mic back up. Well, now it is.
Kilo Tango.
Okay, I don't know. You can click on this to go change your nav frequencies manually if you needed to, although they tend to be in your flight plan. When you go into your flight plan and you pick an ILS approach, it automatically programs your nav frequencies for you. Got it right here, 1.0.7. One interesting thing about this plane is it will let you just float outside. Get some nice exterior shots this way. And you can explore what the inside of the plane looks like. I flew around the plane earlier and was looking inside of it. So there is a lot of stuff modeled in here. Like, why would you model all this interior stuff that you can never see? At least I don't think you can see it. Now, some of this stuff I know has an external view. Like this, I think you can open this panel when you're on the ground and you can see some of this stuff. So that makes a little bit of sense. Got all this stuff here. Not much inside the engines, though. Engines are a lie. Is that the engine? Yeah, that's the engine. That really. Even that has this hose. Like, why model this hose? Like, when you access this, maybe you can access this panel from the ground. I haven't done any walk around on this plane from the ground. I should do that. I guess this would be the lavatory.
Delta Charlie Yankee Automated Weather Observation 0400 Zulu. Wind, calm. Visibility, 10. Sky condition, clear. Temperature.
Some random weather station. We got a little bit longer term visitors, I think. Anyone say hi in chat? Uh-oh, our passengers are getting less happy. Forgot to keep feeding them. I thought they were going to sleep. We're going to do drink service. And that should get everybody happy again. This is only my second NeoFly mission with, well, I think it's my second with passengers, where I have a flight attendant aboard. I did a flight with, I mean, I've done other flights with passengers where they're just some random passenger and, you know, basically same as cargo. You fly them somewhere, you're done. But in the, I did a few PC-24 missions, but I never could fit the flight attendant in. So, I finally did one that had that, and now I'm doing this one, which I think is my second one with a flight attendant and trying to keep the passengers happy. Before they would always just be unhappy. With no flight attendant, you can't do anything. So they get hungry or thirsty or tired, and just, their happiness goes to zero, and that's it. You don't get a bonus. I think it's just some kind of reputation bonus. I don't know how it really works in NeoFly. Maybe it gives you. I don't know if it ultimately gives you more experience or more money or neither. Maybe it's just a measure of how far you've progressed. If you watch some of my earlier NeoFly streams, I was flying, like, I started off flying in the 152, so, you know, just doing very short little runs, mostly probably cargo, I don't even remember. Oh, they have this one mission type. It's kind of funny. It's called illicit, and you pick up a shady looking guy, and you have to fly over some remote point, and he drops quote unquote pizza, and then you fly to some other airport, or you fly to any airport you want after that and land, like your mission rewards. It's the illicit mission. Fans of the show How I Met Your Mother might call it a sandwich, I would guess. Yeah, maybe we should do some rum cocktails, because I have to go do that thing that I don't like to do. Totally go for some rum cocktails. I'm also working on a flight simulator drinking game. Because if you're going to fly planes, a drinking game makes total sense. This will have to be on the honor system though. I think what you do is you fly around and do touch and goes at a small airport in a small plane. Everybody has to be in the same plane. And for every 100 feet per minute of your touch and go, you have to do a shot until you crash. That's my flying drinking game. We need a clever name for it. Anyone out there have a clever name for a drinking game? You fly until you crash. Okay, I have some suggestions here. Could be hard landing happy hour. Wheels up, bottoms up. Flare or dare. Or stall and fall. How many drink and food services do we have to do on a 4-hour flight? I wouldn't think you'd get more than 1 food and 2 drinks. Let's see how we're doing here. Got food service going on now. Just under 30 minutes till we start our descent. Supposedly this airport has lights. I think most airports with ILS would have lights. It's kind of designed for that. Night operations. I was flying with a guy once. We were flying from... He had a, I guess like a timeshare in a plane, and he had to ferry it back from kind of south end of Denver down to Colorado Springs. So I went up with him and we flew it back. And the airport there, it had lights, but you had to tune to a certain frequency and like click your mic 3 times to turn on the lights. And then it would turn on the lights for a certain amount of time, and then they would go back off, and you'd have to do it again. So that was pretty interesting. Are you gonna make rum cocktails? Oh, how's our winds doing? Wow, we have a 104 knot tailwind now and a 63 knot side wind. Better than the 100 knot headwind. That 63 knot side wind is going to slow us down too. Crosswind, I guess. I wish I'd been in the Boeing so I could have turned on the Wi-Fi. Alright. We're about 22 minutes from starting our descent. So let's go ahead and get set up for that. So if I look at my flight plan here, looks like our final approach fix is about 2,000. Now, if we had a real ATC, we wouldn't be doing this. They would be giving us descents, and we would follow them. So we would use our altitude, like they might say, you know, descend to 3,500 feet. So we might dial in. I mean, descend to flight level 350 is what they would probably say at that point. But we're going to go down to 35,000 feet. C descent mode. We might slow down a little bit. So, you know, they might kind of give us a step descent like that. Let's go ahead and hold at 39,000 feet here. go straight on down to 2,000. So what I'm going to do is I can change this now down to 2,000. So that allows it to descend to 2,000. And then what we're going to do is enable VNAV mode. And that will allow the automatically computed descent to execute. So it's going to follow this vertical guidance here. But even though I dialed it down here, mine, to 2,000, once it starts descending, it's going to notice, okay, at this point I have to be above 3,000 feet. So it's going to target to be at 3,000 feet at that point. And that's what's driving this top of descent time. You know, because we're telling, hey, we want a 3-degree slope. Right? So it's just kind of back computing where it has to start off at that. So when it does descend, it will, you know, even though I have a 2,000 foot limit here, it's going to have a 3,000 foot limit until we get past that point, and then we can descend to 2,000. Generally, it's really good at just flying that path straight down. So it'll be like right at 3,000 at that point, and it'll just keep going. Audio glitches. Wish you could make this go away. I really think that everything that's up here should be on here. Should be like little apps in here that you can pin. Like, why couldn't you have the cloud interface here? I really don't like this whole region of the screen to be kind of blocked out by that thing. Like if you're trying to get to a control or something that's overhead, it's always in the way. I don't think the HUD works in this thing. It works in the 737. So I'm just not understanding something. Push button. Some of the HUDs I've seen are pretty fancy though. They even have the, like sort of like a sketch of the terrain ahead. Stephen Wright would say this is the artificial horizon. It's better than the actual horizon. Flaps 1, 250 knots. Flaps 2, 230 knots. Flaps full, 180 knots. think there was a setting related to that, right? Minutes, alerts. Not there. Okay, okay. What these are the speeds that you want the FMS to set when you have the flaps set differently. So at 250 knots, you can drop first notch flaps, and it will automatically slow down to 200 knots when you do. If you're using the FMS. Right now, I think I'm in manual. And then flaps 2, 160, full flaps, 140. That makes more sense now. I'm okay with that. We are a Model 700. Okay. I will make note of that. Cessna Longitude 700. So this is our approach speed's 129, and touchdown speed should be 117. Can't really change those, but this is how long the runway is and how much it thinks we would need. Doesn't know how bad we are though. References on here for you. Got any? Nope, we got clouds. That's what we got. Got a 118 knot tailwind, 50 to 6 knot crosswind. I wonder if, like the vision depth, this will give you the 1 minute warning on the vertical path descent. I guess we'll find out here in just under 9 minutes. Vision jet, it goes like vertical track. So we armed VNav, which also shows up here as path. White things are armed, not active yet. See pressure come back into the brakes. I was thinking these avionics should have more audible cues, right? Like why doesn't it have a vertical cue? Well, almost an arbitrary one where you could set it at any, like when you go over a certain altitude, or when you go under a certain altitude, or over a certain speed, or under a certain speed. You should be able to trigger those. Could pop up something on the screen and also give a, at least a bell, if not a verbal message. I would find it helpful if I could set one, like, when you're coming up on 10,000 feet, make sure you get your landing lights on, or when you're going above 10,000 feet, turn them off. That kind of thing. They should hire me. Garmin, if you're out there. Probably only takes 25 years of red tape and approvals to get any changes made to these things. I'm not sure why this one locks out, just because you're full screen here. It'd still be useful to have, like, the flight plan. Like, I could have this up. Not sure what they were going for there. Probably something that complicates it. Fight over the map settings. I wonder if we're going to need any anti-ice. Let's check out the weather nearby again.
Kilo Lima November Papa Automated Weather Observation 0500 Zulu. Wind, tree 27 at tree. Visibility, 10. Sky condition, ceiling 13,500 foot overcast. Temperature, 1C. Dew point, 5C. Altimeter tree 00 tree 01.
Yeah, I would say that probably is going to need some
November Papa
anti-icing.
Automated Weather Observation 05.
start descending and we're getting close to the clouds there, we'll want to turn on ice protection, which is here. Almost want to turn the clouds off so we can see all the city lights. Feel free to chat in chat if you want to say anything or have any questions or want to answer any of my questions. I think I found a lot of the controls that I was looking for. Don't see any weather out there. I guess we're going to find out if there's an audible tone in 1 minute here, 2 seconds. So you get a better look of it. Chime. So that's kind of alerting us to the fact that we want to make sure our altimeter is set and that we have VNAV on and we should be good to go. We might also want this, well, I'm going to try maybe I won't try. I really don't want it to go over speed again. So I'm going to dial this back a little bit. So 235. And I can see on here that it still wants to go this fast, right? I'll actually dial this up to 245. Guessing its descent speed is in Mach because it moved a little bit. You can see as we're descending, our max indicated airspeed is going way up. You know, I mean, and we could let it go faster. We can let it go way up here. That's going to be Mach 0.813. Actually spooling the engines up now to get us going that fast. I'm going to dial it back down. So below 10,000 feet, there is a speed limit of 250 knots. And in the game, it is a hard speed limit. Above 250, like you'll get dinged for overspeed under 10,000 feet. Certainly within Microsoft Career Mode. I think also in NeoFly. Kind of what we want to do is, as we get down to that altitude, we really want our plane to start slowing down to be below 250 knots. And because it's a hard speed limit in the game sense, I don't think it is. I think in real life they go 250, and if it goes a little over, a little under, nobody cares. It's probably not that accurate anyway. I always kind of go about 240, keep from going over speed. But we will be landing soon. Let's see, let's take a look at our this over here is the VNAV profile. So it's saying our target descent is 2,700 feet per minute. Required descent right now is pretty close to that, and our deviation is only just a few feet. So what you want to see, if this gets too far off, it'll actually stop following the profile. We can see that our next vertical point is to be above 3,000 feet in Atlanta. There's kind of two altitudes coming up. One is the transition altitude. It's different for different airports, but I think generically in the US it's often 18,000 feet. So as we get below 18,000 feet, I'll come off standard barometer here. What I want to know to do that is the current altimeter setting. Ultimately at our destination airport, but I may not be able to reach it just yet. So we can just do the nearest one for now.
Kilo Mike Whiskey Kilo automated weather observation 0500 Zulu. Wind, come. Visibility 10. Sky condition 13,600 feet scattered.
So it's going to be
Temperature
30.00.
4C. Dew point 4C.
Indicator, so we want this to be right in the middle. That's where it is. We can also see that in the vertical deviation. This will indicate that deviation. And then here's that altitude restriction. So since it has a pre-programmed altitude restriction above 3,000 feet, that's overriding the one that I dialed in down to 2,000. Let's zoom in just a little. And we can go all the way down on the details so we can focus on our flight plan. What we're doing is we're coming in down here, we're going to circle up here and then get on final to the runway, and then this would be our missed approach. So we fly up here into this holding pattern until we get directions to do otherwise. But I don't really do missed approaches. Maybe we should do some missed approach videos just for practice. But, oh, there we go. Look. We're either below the clouds or they cleared up a bit. That's nice. Here is an airport. I do not believe this is our airport. Hope not. That's way too close to descend to right now. Don't know where our airport would be. So I have this on 25 nautical miles, which means this ring is 25 nautical miles from this point. So we have another 50 nautical miles to go here. We're not anywhere close to it. It's definitely not that airport. Going to be way out that way somewhere. Maybe out over here or something. It's a big airport though. You see that little flash, the white and green. Airport signal. Okay, so let's see if we can go SMS now. Let the FMS control the speeds. Setting at 200 knots right here. We're not going 200 knots because our descent is not allowing us to slow down. But that is okay right now. As we continue to descend, the air will get thicker and we'll still be descending at the same angle, so it'll slow down more and more. And if we needed to, we could deploy our speed brakes. Slow you right down. This plane does have both speed brakes and reverse thrust. It's kind of nice. It's an airport. This is the half bank angle, which makes it not bank so hard for turns. Should keep our passengers happier. They are currently thirsty. And they are way down. We're gonna have to... Maybe I should slow down so we can get through a food and drink service cycle. There's our speed bug on the 200, so that's what the FMS is currently targeting. We can see on here we've got flaps 1, flaps 2, and gear indicators on the speed tape. So we could go ahead and go flaps 1. That will give us a lot of drag. And as we get towards 200, it's going to spool the engines back up. Compensate. Now, at some point here, soon, we should be able to intercept the localizer. So that's the ILS that gives you lateral and vertical guidance, very precise for your approach. So what we're going to want to do for that is go into approach mode here. And as we're coming up on Lanta, that's where we should start see that coming into play. As we turn on Lanta, that's where we'll want to activate approach, I hope. I did check the frequencies. We're on 110.7, and if you go to your ILS approach plates for your runway, it's 110.7, and our course of approach is 025 degrees. And I think that I have not programmed that in yet. I'm not sure where I see that on this console. Normally you would set this to your course heading. Just saw, this should be the localizer here, popping up on here. Maybe we don't have to dial in course. There's a course knob, I'm not sure what that does, but it looks like we're above where we should be. I'm gonna go ahead and go second notch of flaps in our gear. Because when we turn here at Lanta on final, we'll want to be more or less in our landing configuration and speeds. So we can go to flaps 3, and that should automatically slow us down to 140. Hopefully that auto throttle is better in this plane than some of the others. And then on our flight plan, we set an FMS speed of 135 here. So when we cross Fabric, we should automatically slow down to 135 as well. FABIC. No, I'm sorry. We're a minute and a half from this waypoint, and then from there it's like a 41 seconds to Atlanta, and then 2.5 minutes to FABIC, and then FABIC onto the runway. That says to me that that is our runway over here. Do have the flashlight if we need to look around. Like food and mail service minutes from landing. But I think we'll have time to finish meal service, and at least our happiness will start going up as they start getting food. Okay. We got 3 greens on gear. We're at full flaps. We're currently at 140. We're going to slow down to 135 for our final approach. So I'm planning on landing a little fast because I had a little bit of trouble with speed. Apparently the hot setup is to use the angle of attack indicator. You want to be right about this green dot on your final. So we can always go into manual speed mode or the auto throttle and dial it down, or we can turn off the auto throttle and control the throttle ourselves. Okay, so we're going to turn in here. We need to go into approach mode, and I think we might be too high. So let's ascend a little bit here ourselves. Might have waited too late to get that in. Not really familiar with this approach exactly. But we want to be 2,000 in FABIC, and we're a little high for that, I do believe. There is our glide slope. This is an ILS approach, so it's called a glide slope, and on other approaches it's called a glide path. Now, as we approach this, we want to not dive so much. So I'll start ticking back on the vertical speed here. So that when we intercept it, it's not a big jerk and, descend past it. We want to kind of gently intercept it. I'm gonna go manual now and notch the speed down just a little bit. And I think I'm just gonna land at speed. Very exciting. Got a 10 knot crosswind right now. That tends to die down a little bit as we get closer to the ground. This is our flight path marker. That's where we're actually heading to. That's where we're pointed. That sound is one of the markers, outer marker. So there should be outer marker, middle marker, and then can't remember what the last one's called. Final marker, inner marker, something like that. There should be another one when we get about halfway. So that was at Fabic. So we get another one in 2.5. You better hurry with that food service. We're at 87%. Right, this is a 2.5 nautical mile range, so 2.5 nautical miles from that runway now. We are on the glide slope. Gears down, full flaps. We're ready to take control if we need to. Crosswind is down to 3 now. That's good. Little tiny bit of a headwind, basically doesn't matter. These are the patty lights here. We want 2 red, 2 white until we get closer, and then they're inaccurate. As long as we're on the glide slope here, we're okay. So we should start hearing our altitudes pretty soon, I would think. Where's our height above the ground?
200.
There we go. That was 200.
100. 50.
Autopilot.
Auto throttle.
Autopilot.
Auto throttle. Auto throttle. Auto throttle. Auto throttle. Auto throttle.
Well,
Auto throttle.
you've landed.
Auto throttle.
We'll send maintenance to check the gear after you park.
Auto throttle. Auto throttle. Auto throttle. Auto throttle.
Reverse thrust.
Auto throttle.
Taxi to
Auto
parking
throttle.
and shut
Auto
down your
throttle.
engine.
Auto throttle. Auto
No
throttle.
takeoff.
Auto throttle. Auto throttle. Auto throttle.
Stopped a
Auto
little hard there.
throttle.
We should
Auto
have
throttle. Auto throttle. Auto throttle.
should
Auto
let it
throttle.
coast at the
Auto
end.
throttle. Auto throttle. Auto throttle.
Yeah,
Auto
yeah,
throttle.
yeah.
Auto throttle. Auto throttle. Auto throttle.
If it wasn't there, I could hit auto throttle sooner. Well, we came down a little hard, but could have exited there. Their taxiways are not well marked here. Normally the blue lights outline the taxiway and the green light is what you're supposed to follow. Alright, just about at the end of this run. Thanks for hanging out for the last little bit. Those who did hang out. Take taxiway B. More where air traffic control and ground control would be giving us directions. Just gonna get clear of the runway here. Great. This should be near airport, which is KDAN. Get frequencies. Not working. Let's see if we turn on. Okay, so it's got us parking over there. Flaps up, like we land usually. So just make a U-ey. Well, that's a runway actually. Oh, we're gonna cheat. Can't start a drink service. Well, I don't think I'm going to drive all the way to parking anyway. It's above 90 right now, so I'm going to let them off on the side of the the runway here. NeoFly doesn't distinguish between where you are. As long as you're off the runway. Like, good enough for me.
Auto throttle.
Transporter, you can open the doors and begin the disembarkation.
Hey, we leveled up. So we made captain. Gonna be a long way to senior captain.
Transporter, all the passengers have disembarked. Good job. See you soon.
So the rental cost us $75,000.
You are clear to start your engine.
We made $136,000 for the flight part and $490,000 for the mission, and however much experience we got total out of that. Maybe like 700. All right, well, thanks for joining all. I'm gonna head out. I got some things I gotta get done. Good night.